All right, we're gonna start without Chris. Hopefully he gets his internet back, and we'll have him join up.
I'm super bummed because his reviews on this shit's gonna be so I'm so stoked on this group of music.
Yeah, you are
miserable as I am right now, as I feel right now. I'm actually so stoked on this music. Like, I can't even wait to get into it because this is the first time around I got to every single one. Thank you for postponing today for me, because that wasn't going to happen. But I got through every single person's at least a song or two and have a tiny little note at least for every single one. And I loved all of it. This is the best group of music we've done so far. That I'm the most excited. I'm the most excited on this group of music so far.
So I listened to a lot of this while I was not feeling well. And I just put like little notes down to go back to later and expand on. And I never went back to expand. So
I need a better system next month because I do it at work. So then I just write down notes on whatever the fuck I have laying around. And then I'm like trying to gather the notes and make sense of them. Didn't come out hot.
I've been trying to do it in one notebook. Yeah, I think we were on the, I don't know, we were on the same wavelength this time around because I was really digging some different stuff that wasn't kind of not straight up punk anymore, because we like kind of were revolving around that world for the first couple of episodes, and I was definitely like down to do some like acoustic stuff and like different stuff, and I'm super stoked on this stuff.
I definitely wanted to mention that I felt like we were all kind of in sync with this round without trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we all just kind of brought it and it was there. So all right, so it's Bandcamp Friday once again for January. I don't know if Bandcamp's still doing their fee free. What am I trying to say?
Not fee. Definitely not fee.
Not fee. No. They might be back to fees, but we're gonna keep this going with the round table. Chris is having internet issues. We hope that Christopher Chavez from that one time at Bandcamp podcast will be with us momentarily. Hopefully. But we have Michael Gratton. Gratton. I like Gratton.
Hard A's.
From Punk as Folk YouTube channel, and Jeff Bousquet from Dirty Decibels Podcast. Wow, I blanked out on everybody on that one. I'm Trev Allen, and I'm struggling. Today. Getting over a belt of COVID and the holidays and everything else that sucks about this time of year.
You got to put out an episode struggling with COVID. We could all just be on it.
I know. I was telling Michael that the episode that comes out tomorrow, when I was doing the editing, like I couldn't talk. I could not talk. So there's no intro to it. There's no outro. It just cuts right in. So it's very shitty on my part, but I just couldn't talk. I was just like, I did the intro and outro for the KCUF episode, and it pained me to talk. So
I don't think anybody can blame you for that.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be kind of on the whim or whatever. But
dude, while we're still on introductions, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, say something.
Fucking an album came up before I joined that Jeff did, actually, World on Fire, and I have been listening to that shit. I don't know why, but like this weekend I was in like a folky mood, so I've been it fit right in, dude. I've been listening to your album a lot, like over the past 2 days.
I hope you were in a depressed mood, because I feel like that's the only music that it's good for.
I'm always like some level of depressed, so yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Hey, did you play the harmonica on that track?
I did. Yeah.
I did. How do you do the harmonica?
How do you do it with a beard? Because I have one right beside me, and I like catch my mustache hair. Like I've tried so hard.
Yeah, I that probably happened to me a few times. I think the whole point of the harmonica is that you don't have to know how to play the harmonica to play it. You just all you have to do is pick one that is in the key that your song is in, and then just blow into it. That's pretty much it.
Okay. I know how to play.
I am practicing. I am trying to practice how to do it where you play, like have the little bracket and play guitar and do it at the same time. That's a challenge. For sure.
I was just gonna say I was watching a video of some like folk punk concert they had in Columbus, and the dude had one of those things, but instead of a harmonica, he had a fucking kazoo.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
He like broke out the kazoo solo.
That's awesome.
Rad.
I went to school with his brother, but I'm friends with him as well. A gentleman, he used to do like this one-man band thing, and it would be like he'd have the guitar, the harmonica, singing, and he had like a foot drum thing that he would be, beating onto and stuff. He did a really good job with it. Last I checked though, he was trying to do more original music, and people don't want that. Some people just, some places, wherever you are, like they just want that cover, the covers and the hits. And so like I hope he's pretty talented, so I really hope he finishes the album if it's not finished already and puts it out there, because I'd put it on Bandcamp Friday if that was the case. So
you just reminded me of an artist I might pick for next time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Right. Well, let's get into this time. You know what? we could talk about Chris's list, right? We all listen to it, right?
Yeah.
Do we have the names?
We can't do any of his reviewing justice. I don't think.
No.
Does somebody have his list?
I do. It's in front of me. Yeah.
All right, cool. Because I don't write down the names of the band, especially when he sends a picture, because I can't copy and paste.
I've got it. I've got him here. Yeah.
So we'll put that. We'll proxy for him. Except I can't talk about his bands for him because he's majestic when he does it.
I know. the most poetic of the four of us is not with us.
I forgot how did we do this? I forgot. Do we go through my entire list or do we go one at a time?
We go through everybody's list at one time. All right, so cool.
All right. So we'll save Chris's for last in case he shows up. Before we get started though, you guys have any charities you want to mention that's going on? GoFundMe's, charities. This was something I think I asked you guys if you guys were cool with doing it. But we ended up postponing the episode, so I forgot about it. But yeah, do you guys have any charity albums or just GoFundMe's in general?
First, go ahead, Jeff.
No, you go for it.
Punk Rock Saves Lives has the volume 2 of their album up for pre-order right now. I think there's still copies of volume 1. It's just a compilation album with all proceeds going to benefit Punk Rock Saves Lives. And Punksgiving has their compilation up. Also, just bands donated songs. Dave Strong's on it to benefit their organization, which provides like outreach and support, I think mostly in the Richmond, Virginia area, but I mean, they've been pretty active online as well. So
nice.
Where do they go to find the album?
Punksgiving.org or punkrocksaveslives.org, which might be wrong. I know it's .org, but it might just be Punk Rock Saves.
Okay.
Yeah, the only ones I was going to mention is obviously Squally, our pal Squally's compilation album that he puts out every year. It's miracleoncommav.bandcamp.com. It's all a bunch of local artists doing, holiday related tunes, and it raises money for Child's Play, which is they give video games and other types of games, I think, to terminally ill kids. The other thing I was going to mention, the GoFundMe, Zipper Recording Studios has a GoFundMe up right now. They had a fire in the building and the whole entire studio was destroyed. It was like really tragic. Which I've never been there. I don't know them personally, but I have definitely like heard a lot about Zipper Recording, and I know a lot of artists that have recorded there, and it's been a legendary kind of staple in the Boston music scene for many years. I think he was in the space for like 30-ish years roughly in this building on Corey Road in Brighton. And the whole building, basically burned. And so
tragic.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't think there was no fatalities, but he just he lost the studio. So there's a GoFundMe up to raise money for him to get back on his feet and try to replace as much of the gear as he can. And he had a lot of vintage analog gear and stuff like that is just really difficult to find or replace, and took him years to collect it. So the fastest way to get to the GoFundMe, I have it in my link trees on my Instagram account. So if you want to go to at Dirty DB Cast is my Instagram, I believe. I always forget what the actual handle is for it because I haven't been on the air in a little while. But yeah, it's at Dirty DB Cast, or at Jeff and Records is my personal Instagram account, and you can find that GoFundMe linked there in both of my bios. So
it's also on the podcast TSA link tree thing too as well. Yeah, I'm hoping they could raise a bunch of money for that gentleman to try to replace some of it anyway,
Yeah, seems like a really great guy, and so I just feel super bad for them. So
yeah, me too. I've got one too. This isn't music related, but it's a charity. I kind of just stumbled upon it a couple of weeks ago. A friend of mine that I used to work with down in Westerly, Rhode Island, her 2-year-old son was diagnosed with stage 4 Burkitt lymphoma. I don't know how rare of a cancer it is, but stage 4 anything isn't good, especially not with a 2-year-old who's got a whole life to live. So they're raising money. There's a GoFundMe for that. It's on the podcast link tree. There's a fundraiser dinner in Westerly, Rhode Island on Saturday. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back. It's in Mystic, Connecticut. They're holding it in Mystic, Connecticut at the Mystic VFW. That's on Saturday, January 22nd. It's $20 ticket to get in. It's between 4 and 7. Like I said, they're just raising money for the family to help them with all the hospital costs. So, in addition to that, we have our normal, wow. Woo. My brain just reset on me. Holy shit. Outside of that, we have our normal two charity albums that we've been talking about forever. Punk with a Purpose for the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation, and the Benefit for Bueno, friends playing songs for a friend. Those two are linked to the podcast, Struggling Artist Podcast link tree. You can find those albums there as well. Check them out, support if you can. If you can't, share, at the very least share. That's what I always try to tell everybody. If you can't, always support. So I think we're gonna keep doing that every Bandcamp Friday episode. If you guys are down, find another little charity just to kind of, unfortunately it's things come up and then that's when we gotta, put a call out to everybody. And I know the listeners of the Struggling Artist are very, very, very generous when it comes to this kind of thing, when it comes to any kind of GoFundMe. So I know they'll step up to the plate. But all right, let's get to our list. Are we ready? Without Chris today, all right. I'm using we collectively. I am a mess without Chris here today. Yeah. So let's get to our list. I'll start with mine, I guess, since that's why we've been doing it. Local. My local is they're out of Boston. They're called the Shanghai Lows. The album was Kick It Like a Wicked Bad Habit. This album was it's a lot of fun. I had heard it a while back and I forgot about him, and I had to really like rack my brain to find it because I knew I wanted it for this episode. It's got this like pop rock, swing, springtime kind of bop vibe to it. They're really good. I'm not familiar with them. I know like if you look at their Bandcamp thing, they tell you what other bands they're in and stuff. But yeah, I know this album was it's a happy music, and I wanted happy music this time around. It didn't work, but this album works. So yeah, that was my first pick, was the Shanghai Lows. Kick it like a wicked bad habit. It's got, like I said, if you like swing rock, that's what this is. So
I really like this album. I got like the 50s like sock hoppy for some reason vibe, like, and I love rockabilly music anyways. So this isn't really rockabilly, but it reminds you of what they'd have played at like the dance where the boys are standing on one side and the girls are standing on the other side being weird.
Being weird.
Being awkward.
I had cool mellow surf rock retro vibes. It's like surf rocky and kind of pop rock. Definitely had that like 50s dance hall kind of, not dance hall like the music style, but I know what you're trying to say, like so like a dance in Back to the Future or whatever, had those vibes for sure, and super fun. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, have you heard of that? I always ask Jeff when it comes to my locals, is if he had heard of them before. Have you heard of these
both
guys?
In the same place? Yeah. No, I hadn't heard of anybody on your list, and I really want to talk about the next two too, because I want you to tell me all about who these people are, because I'm very stoked that I just discovered them. But no, I had not heard of the Shanghai Lows, and I'm definitely going to listen to them and keep them in my rotation now, because they're super fun to listen to.
Awesome. All right, Chris, you're up. Oh wait. All right.
No, you're gonna go through.
Still not here.
Yeah. I'm gonna. He didn't email me his novel on what he thought of the album. So. All right. So my next pick.
My brain's too slow.
So listen. But then our next criteria for the next pick, Jeff had suggested this one, right? And I didn't quite get, and I don't think I followed it as true to how you suggested it. But like, it was like a search, right? Isn't that what you wanted to
do? To just kind of do a cold search. Yeah.
A cold search.
I thought maybe that would be cool.
Yeah. So
like click on a genre and just go find something.
All right. So how I found Tyler. This is my next one is Jesus. I hate doing this shit on my phone because my phone locks out. And then so the next album I have is called Why I Am, right? It's by Tyler Seton. Now I met Tyler, okay, and never listened to his music. He actually works at a venue down in Rhode Island, in the hometown that I'm from, in my hometown. And like, I had met him. We were there checking out the venue, and I had met him and briefly, real quick, he had mentioned like that he plays music and this and that. And I said, oh yeah, I'll check out your stuff. So I felt like this would be the perfect opportunity for that, since I had never heard him before. I don't know if that quite meets your cold search requirements, but or parameters, but I think
it's totally fine.
Yeah, cool. So I checked out Why I Am. It's very folky, and it's very honest. This was a very honest little album that he had. It's surrounded with mental health talk, or music, and I don't know. I was really impressed by it, and I actually reached out and I told him we were going to be talking about it. So, and he was very grateful. The album's a little old, but he's got new stuff. He said he's got coming up, and he's in a band too. I think their band is a cover band, but he's been trying to. Again, he's another person that I've met that is trying to do more like their own thing than just playing covers for people. I am looking forward to hearing what Tyler has next. I think what he's singing about is very important. And I think he's going to be, I think he's going to kind of come forth with more of that kind of music. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to mental health in general, musicians have always been kind of ahead of the curve about being open about it. And it's because it's the way it's the way you guys can portray how you feel, your feelings. You're putting everything you got into music, and this is exactly what Tyler did in this album. So
yeah, I dug it. I wrote down acoustic folky punk stuff, slightly emo. The there's some like throwback vibes and like the vocal style and stuff like that I loved, and just like exactly what I was looking for as far as like some stuff I was hoping this time around, as I said before we did our intros, like was we were all kind of on the same page with pulling some different stuff that was like maybe not all revolving just around punk. And yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I love this pick. Like just a dude in a guitar. I like the emo folk. Like, yeah. And I've been listening to this one a lot too. Like, I really like that singer-songwriter style, and I've been getting back into playing. So I don't like making friends, so I don't ever want to be in a band. So I've been like trying to draw inspiration from I'm like, if I make friends, I don't want to have to work with them.
Right.
Nice. All right, so my X Factor comes from Man with Song, and it's called Kind of the First. This is Russ Condon. He's from a band, Town Meeting. They're from like the Fitchburg area.
Okay.
Phenomenal, like Americana folk band.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with them?
No, I am now, and I went and dug in on Instagram. Last night when I was listening to this, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah. So Man with Song, he has an album coming out soon. It's still in the post-production stages of it, but he threw this together kind of like a Bandcamp thing. And what I like about, and this goes for Russ and his brother Luke Condon has a really awesome little solo album he put out last year. That's it's like beautiful, and then there's like funny songs, and like these guys are hilarious. First of all, I just want to, like, they're both really funny, and like you can listen to like their lyrics, and like you can it's just weird because sometimes when I think of like Americana and like folk music, like I kind of think of pompous people, and these guys are not that. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll sing about like getting drunk and or whatever. And they like to have fun with their stuff too. Like I'm pretty sure the first song on that one is about putting together this little album. About pulling songs to put. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm into it. I think Russ has a beautiful voice, and he's a fantastic musician. So I was really happy that he put this out, and I grabbed it right away. Also, they are Russ, his brother Luke, and Mike Shue from 100 FM The Pike out here in Worcester, formerly from AAF. They have a podcast. They have a Neil Young podcast, and last I checked, it's like the only Neil Young podcast around. So,
entirely about Neil Young.
Yes, they go through every album. It's fucking awesome. It's
tracks. I mean that definitely tracks.
So these guys, they're just like I said, Russ is a great guy, and I was happy he put this little thing out, and I'm happy to be able to talk about it today. So yeah, you're definitely gonna, if you want to listen to it, I mean, you're gonna get this, like you're gonna get Americana folk, because I mean, there's no other way around that one, right?
I literally just wrote yes with a whole bunch of S's. It's the first thing that I wrote down, and I started listening to this, and I was like, yes, it's mellow, it's awesome. And like I was just on that vibe for this whole Even with my first pick too, like, also just, can we just be honest and like put this out there, like this guy is also fucking ridiculously attractive. Like, incredibly handsome man. Beautiful voice as well. And then I like looked into like his band, and I assumed that you must have known them, that you were a fan of that band or whatever, but I haven't like started listening to the band except for a couple of their videos on Instagram, but I definitely want to dive into some of their stuff too. Because I dig it for sure. His voice reminds me a little bit of the singer from the band Deer Tick. Okay. It reminded me of his vocal tone a little bit.
You know what I say about his music, about the band? It makes me fucking smile, and like I don't like to smile a whole lot, so but I described their last album as like something you would find on like a soundtrack to like a coming home movie, like a movie where someone comes home and the coming of age, like, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. Like that's the music perfect for that. Perfect.
But without the pretentious air of like Mumford and Sons.
Yes.
Right. Like that's
exactly
what you were saying. You were thinking of those people as being like douchey.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get that. I totally for sure. It's got a lot. It's a little bit more like raw, self-aware and self-aware and goofy and like humorous and stuff.
Yes.
That I dig those vibes for sure.
Yeah.
I missed this one, but I do want to say that I'm glad you brought up certain genres fan bases. That way I don't feel bad when I bring it up during mine.
Oh yeah.
So all right. Jeff, you want to go your list?
Sure. So my local, as I said, we were on vibes with just like some mellower stuff, acoustic stuff, folk stuff that wasn't like just total punk. And then my X Factor got weird. But for my local pick, I had my dear friend C.E. Skidmore, who has just, we were talking on the last episode about the low-hanging fruit factor, but had to put her record Deer Island on this show because it's fantastic. She is one of the best songwriters that I've ever met in my life personally. I don't really know, I don't have good words. If I hope that Chris maybe listens to it, and that if he joins us, he can spin his magic of review, because he could just say it probably so much better than me. I don't have good words. I've never had good words for describing her as a musician. She's just, it's folk, it's punk, it's got a dark edge to it that she just weaves words together. She's an amazing lyricist, and she weaves words together in a way that has always moved me a lot. She's been in a couple different incarnations of bands. Her band was called Live Nude Girls, and it was her and Aria and another friend of theirs that played the fiddle originally, and then that person left the band, and so then it was just kind of the two of them. And every once in a while they'll still kind of get together as like a duo and do like a little thing, kind of almost as a reunion occasionally, but for the most part now it's just her and as the principal songwriter, and then she'll play live with a band, Carrie Ann and the Damn Fine Band, C.E. Skidmore and the Damn Fine Band. Her full name is Carrie Ann. And but yeah, I think her stuff is it's sad, but it's also beautiful, and it's also very clever. She just is like a clever tongue-in-cheek lyricist sometimes, and she just never fails to impress me with the stuff that she writes. Also a plug, my brother recorded this album at his project studio space in Rhode Island, above a garage. And I think for what he had at his disposal, space wise and gear wise, it came out sounding fantastic. So I think I was very impressed by his improvements as an engineer on the record too. So it's a personal pride record for sure. But yeah,
I was listening to this album, like it was like days before you sent it over too. Like this is like the second or third time that's happened too, which is weird. But yeah, her voice is so beautiful. And like it, and like you said, she's got this like, I don't know, like this folk dark kind of like political angle to it, and it just works. Everything on that album works, and I like it. And now that I know that your brother recorded it too, like I like it even. I like it that much more. I cannot wait to see her perform, because I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, she's amazing, and she will belt out songs live on stage and just break your heart.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I had songwriting and 3 exclamation marks. I don't know why I always use 3 exclamation marks, but I'm guessing that's a good thing at this point. But yeah, that's usually the most important thing to me on any album. I mean, you can make music that sounds like any genre, but it's completely fucking meaningless to me without songwriting. And between her voice and the lyrics, like, this was an absolute banger. I love this album. I'm so glad you put it on this list. This was like probably the standout for me.
Cool.
Yeah. CE's great. Yeah. So my cold search that I did, I didn't even really follow my own rule either, because I just sort of opened the app and I finally figured out that you can't, like, I was confused too, because I thought I couldn't buy stuff on the app, and I guess apparently you have to be logged in. Like you have to be logged into the fan account if you're using the app, and then you can buy stuff. Which I didn't realize. Yeah. But I was trying to figure all that out. And in the process of figuring all that out, I just like was on the main page, their like main, splash page, and they cycle through different like featured artists, and this one just came up and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. And so it was this band Homefront, and their record is called Think of the Lie, and it's just straight up like 80s new wave synth.
I loved it.
Like heavy, dark, very much like New Order, Tears for Fears, like The Cure, like that kind of stuff. And it was just super fun. I'm a sucker for 80s music. I always have been. It's my guilty pleasure. One of my guilty pleasures. And I don't know why. I'm usually more in a mood for it in the summertime. Like when the weather's warm, I'm just in the mood for giant drums and like cheesy synths all the time. But I heard this record and I was like, this is a record that I'm going to like just rock out to with my sunroof open and in the summertime. Yeah, I just thought they were cool. I just thought it was kind of a refreshing thing that there's like a band in 2021 that's still making that kind of music, that just likes it and does it well, and there's still a fan base for it apparently. So I think it's pretty rad.
I wrote down
go
ahead.
I was just thinking about Jeff rolling around Boston in like the 80s Trans Am with the T's out, fucking rocking new wave.
Jean jacket.
When I was a kid, my dad had a T-top car. It was
awesome.
It was called a Dodge Murata. They made like 5 of them. And
jean jacket with a polo shirt on, none of the buttons buttoned.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I wrote down the Cure and Depeche Mode vibes right off the rip.
Yeah.
And then as the album progressed, it got harder, which kind of surprised me. I don't know what this means, but I wrote Deadly Vibe. I don't know why I wrote that. That might have been when I was
dark.
Like,
it's like doomy.
Yeah. It definitely had like like especially when it got harder, Jeff, that's my wheelhouse. Like 80s, like I listen to like 80s freestyle. I listen to fucking 80s rock. Yeah, I have a ton of bands I could throw you if you like that.
Yeah, always.
No, this was it. This was good. Is there a vinyl to this one? I couldn't remember.
I didn't actually look.
Yeah, I want to. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it regardless. It was definitely it definitely piqued my interest. Yeah, and the first half of that, like I said, where it's got that Cure, the Cure and Depeche Mode, and like, yeah, I'm all about that shit. Guilty pleasure or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I think I had like the exact opposite reaction of everybody else because my notes were like, The Cure, I love this. I can't listen to it. I think we've talked about before how sometimes music can like take you to a place, and this style of synth music just like it takes me to a place in my life that wasn't great. So
Yeah.
even though I love it, I'm like, I don't want to listen to it because I'll just sit here and get fucking depressed and bummed out. But it's an amazing album. If you do, like, I sat through it, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't just have this. It's like a drug. I can't just have it laying around.
That's totally valid, man. I hear that
Gotta
100%.
watch myself.
Yeah. And even I couldn't listen, like, it's not the type of music I would listen to all the time. Like it's a lot to, like, it's a very dense, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah, cool. You want me to, so my last one, my X Factor, this band Public Serpents. They're from Jersey, and I saw them play at O'Brien's a few weeks back. They played with oh gosh, I forget who else played that night. There's a handful of local bands that played, and I had never heard of them before, and they didn't sound anything like they looked like they were going to sound, which is a terrible, horrific thing to say because you should never like judge anybody that way. But you know, when you see a band, you know, you kind of like see the way they're all dressed or like like their vibes, like the way they look, and you kind of think in your head like, gee, I wonder what this band's going to sound like. Sounded nothing like what I thought they were going to sound like at all. They're just like really super fast, fun ska punk, and they put on a awesome live show. Like their energy live was fantastic, and that will always reel me into a band. Their bass player like plays with a wireless pack, and he just like ran across O'Brien's and like jumped up on the bar and like was playing like up, standing up on the bar, and like, you know, if you know the folks at O'Brien's, like they're not exactly going to be cool with that unless you're like good and like you're actually like killing it. And they were like really fun and everybody was really into it. So I picked up their 7-inch split here when I at the show. And so it's them and it's this other band, Escape from the Zoo, who's also pretty good.
Yeah.
This is really like they only had like two kind of things on Bandcamp, and one was the split, so that's what I chose as the.
They're ska, right?
Yeah, it's like ska punk. It's
Ska
that's
punk?
like what I would describe it as. It's
Yeah.
it's just like it's great.
I didn't. So that was one of the ones I didn't get a chance to put anything down for. Just a quick note, and I wrote, "This is ska music." So that's all I've got on there right now. Sorry.
I always describe them as crust ska because they kind of feel like they have that crust punk vibe.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
And I found them a while ago, actually, when that split came out, because I love Escape from the Zoo.
Okay, cool.
So, and they are so good. Like, I love the horns.
Yeah.
They're just, yeah. I was super stoked to see you pick this because, yeah.
Yeah, they're super rad. I hope they put out a full length. I would love to hear a full length from them. That would be great, and I would definitely check them out again if they come through town. They seem like they do tour a decent amount, even with the pandemic going on. It looked like from their social media posts and stuff like that they were pretty active. So hopefully they'll be on the road again soon.
I feel like a lot of the bands in that scene are kind of on the rise right now for some reason. Days and Days is on Fat. Escape from the Zoo just signed to Fat. Bridge City Sinners are touring. like all those bands that seem to run in that circle, and it might just be in my head. There might not be any circle there, but I was just picture hobos hopping trains, running around with their weird instruments, playing music,
I like that. Though.
Oh.
That's, yeah.
and I love it.
That's why I said, man, like I didn't exactly think they were gonna sound like that when I kind of saw them, and I thought they were gonna be, to be honest, I actually thought they were gonna be heavier. Like I thought they were gonna be more like grungy, like rock. Like I don't know why. It's just the vibes I got, and then they blew me away. I was like, fucking love this band. It's great.
All right, Michael, your list.
Oh shit, it's my turn.
Chris isn't here.
So
yet.
my turn. I actually I ended up getting 2 local bands on accident. But the first one is Come Out Fighting from Detroit, Michigan, Any Port in the Storm. They are a hardcore band, and that is the scene I kind of came up in. So I like to revisit it from time to time, even though I'm told I'm too old to be going to hardcore shows.
No, fuck that.
But
No, come on.
this band actually played a show with a band I had picked a couple months ago, Shitty Neighbors, and I started checking them out, and I just really dug the sound. I like that mixture of the hardcore scream vocals. I don't know what you actually call it. I call it scream vocals. And then the clean vocals that aren't the overly polished clean vocals that you get in I don't even know, the radio rock realm, octane core, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I just really dug this band. That was all I have. I'm rambling.
So I'm sorry. This is one of the ones I didn't get to, other than I wrote hardcore punk music. So I mean, I listened to it. I just didn't get a chance to go in and like deep dive. I'm sorry, Michael.
It's hard. No, and I guess while we're talking about hardcore, like anybody who was into hardcore in the 90s, like there was New York, there was LA, but then there was that Rust Belt hardcore, and it's coming back in a big way right now.
Is that what this is? Rust Belt then? This is Rust Belt?
Yeah.
Hardcore? Okay.
Yeah, they're from Detroit.
I liked it. I just didn't have time. I was fucking being sick, and then Chris isn't here, so I couldn't just be like, Chris, what'd you think of it? And repeat what he said.
Chris?
We're missing our crutch.
Right?
Yeah. So
everybody can see how weak this show is without Chris.
Yeah, I just texted him that actually. I just said I'm struggling without you, buddy. No, so like I definitely liked it. It's definitely not the hardcore that I know, and I like that. I like to hear something that's a little bit different. So you calling it that Rust Belt hardcore makes me want to check out more from them and more from, that area. I just wasn't, like I said, I've been sick, so I didn't have a chance to go deep diving.
You were talking about that on the last episode or the one before, like the whole Rust Belt, because I didn't, I know that there's hardcore is like one of those genres that has so many subgenres and like post versions and like different, and it's very regional. Like there's tons of different regional. So I didn't even like really know that was a thing. Like Rust Belt hardcore was its own kind of thing. So yeah, I just wrote like slamming hardcore. It's got some clever kind of funny lyrics that I noticed through the few songs I listened through, like some, it's funny, but there's like some politics layered in there,
right.
But in kind of like a tongue-in-cheek like way. Like they have some sort of clever kind of like humorous lyrics, which I think is a cool juxtaposition with like heavy music. So yeah, I dug it for sure.
My second one was I can't remember if I picked this was my cold search. We Are the Union. It just so happens that they are from Ann Arbor, Michigan, which if Detroit's 40 minutes north, Ann Arbor's like 40 minutes northwest. I don't know directions very well. I don't drive. The album is Ordinary Life, and I have Horn Laden Ska. This was the lead singer's kind of coming out album as a trans person, and it's emotional, but still a really fun listen. I actually have the vinyl version behind me. Yeah. And since we were talking about charity albums and I forgot, they actually were on tour just like a few weeks ago and their van got broken into. So they have a GoFundMe up. We Are the Union. If you've ever bought a guitar, just one, you know that getting a van full of gear robbed would be kind of crippling to anybody trying to make it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I still can't believe that still happens. It's just like, it's so awful that like people who are going around like probably making the least amount of money and working the hardest and living on the like smallest margin are targeted as like,
right.
It's so shitty. It's so shitty.
Like,
and it happens all the time.
And it happens to little bands. Like I could see listen, dude, if you want to break in and steal Metallica's fucking gear, they can buy more. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, it's not fine. I shouldn't like,
right. It doesn't excuse the morality of it. It's like it doesn't make it any more right, but it's just like,
right.
Yes, those people have protections in place that like they could handle that. But like the little DIY band that's on tour, like that ruins a whole tour, that stops a whole like sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just depending on what and how much they take, but it's just like so shitty. It's just like you're already kind of in one of the most vulnerable spots as like a DIY touring musician to begin with. It sucks. I love this band though. We Are the Union is fantastic. They're also like really fun ska punk. I love the social political aspect to their lyrics, and I think it's fucking awesome that they're a queer band, you know, that is like in that circuit and kind of in that world as well. I think it's just kind of encouraging and it's just cool to have more bands that are part of that community and are coming out and supporting it and like bringing that into punk rock, because I think punk is like this place for people to fit in who don't feel like they've been able to fit in other places. So it's always been sort of like second nature to me that like the queer world and the punk world would be overlap, you know? Yeah. So I love this band. They have some like Yellow Card ish, some of their lyrics reminded me of on this record, and I was digging that too.
I have to go back and listen.
I really
dropped
good.
the ball. I dropped the ball.
They're really good. And this was like, I love ska music. I played trombone when I was a little like high schooler. I guess I shouldn't do that. I was probably the same fucking height. I haven't grown. But like this was another one of those ones where I was like, the scene around it, I just like, I kind of keep my ska love on the down low because I don't want to talk to ska people. That sounds horrible. I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but
I get it, man.
Love the music. Fans. It's that pretension that we talked about during the Americana. Like,
yeah.
My last one I found completely on accident. Cheshire, I think I'm saying it right, is from Connecticut, and he had a song called Consider It a Win on the Fest album this year, the charity album for Grace. But his full album is This Guitar Was Stolen Along with Years of Our Lives, and it is folk, punk, rap. There's a pretty like wide range of sounds on this album for a dude in an acoustic guitar. I mean, I get that there is also a band behind him, but yeah, I just really I dug the song, so I started. That's why I love comp albums, because I get to find things I've never heard of, and so I dug into his library, and everything's fantastic. But this album released this year, and it's fantastic from start to finish. It's emotional and sometimes uplifting, sometimes dark, but I really dug it.
Yeah, I wrote down the truth. Like he speaks the truth from start to finish. I don't know. I think it's not. This is gonna be weird, so bear with me. It has a familiar sound to it, not in the sense of that I think it sounds like somebody else, but in the sense of like there's a sense of familiarity to like what he's saying that's relatable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I fell in love with that song, Consider It a Win. I was like, this is how I feel most days. Like,
and he's from New England. He's from Connecticut, you said?
yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know if I've heard of
New
him.
Haven, apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm in.
I also was confused. I wrote down that I was like unsure how to pronounce it technically, but I thought it was really clever, darkly humorous, and I just wrote trumpets with an exclamation point, and then I wrote kooky, funny, cool folk rock. Yeah, I thought it was like really just like something neat and refreshing and like funny and super relatable.
Cool. All right, so are we gonna run down Chris's list? You guys want to do that? Because I think we should at least mention them, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So who's got his list?
I have it here.
Apparently I only listened to
The first one he picked was Husalonia.
Yeah.
Nefarico Chalet, I believe, is the name of the record.
It was a live record.
Was it? I didn't actually realize that it was a live record.
Yeah, I think it's a live album.
I thought it sounded really good. I thought the audio quality, like the mix, was really good. I wrote Elvis Costello meets rockabilly, vintage rock and roll vibes, upbeat, mellow, groovy. I dug, again, it would kind of had that little bit surf rocky, a little bit like retro kind of rock and roll high school dance vibes, and I was into it, but with a little bit more of a punk edge to it, kind of, you know. That's as far as I kind of got with it, but I thought it was cool. I dug it.
Yeah, I wrote swing meets country meets rock, and then I wrote it sounds all old, like something like you could pick from any era of music, and that's what these guys would fit in there. I got a note here. I am what happens when one spends too much time alone. I think that might have been one of the tracks. It was really, it stuck out to me. So I don't know why I wrote that down though, but
sounds like it would be a good lyric.
yeah. Maybe there was a lyric. I don't know. It stuck out to me. It came from that album. I know that much. Nice. Yeah, I got to take better notes when I'm not feeling well, I think.
So this album I really liked because the beginning starts out. I felt like the beginning started out with that like 50s drive-in diner style music. Like I wrote Tarantino, like, because I feel like it could have been playing at Jumpin' Jack Slims in Pulp Fiction. Like that's the type of music. But then as the album progressed, I felt like the time period, I shouldn't say time period because it's all new, but like it almost progressed into that 60s style, more surfy, surfy, upbeat, like surf rock.
Yeah, the retro vibes were strong. I dug it for sure.
Yeah.
His second one was a seat. Well, like the band's called Pretty Please, and the record's called Acedia.
Yeah.
Right.
I might have missed that one.
It's kind of it's like thrashy alt rock kind of grunge stuff, and I wrote like 90s throwback vibes, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, Soundgarden.
Mm.
I liked this too. I thought, again, something refreshing, like different, not kind of outside of the world of punk where we've been hovering around for the last few episodes, and I was stoked to listen to it.
Yeah, I must have missed this one because my next one is definitely not that. So
I'm operating on memory, but the grungy vibes did pretty well describe this one. I didn't really.
all right.
I don't have anything because I don't have any notes, but I know I listened to it.
And his last one.
Caitlin Canty.
Yeah, was she out of Nashville, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
And she has a gorgeous voice.
Yes. The record was called Motel Bouquet, and love it. Her very like soft kind of Nora Jonesy voice, but then paired with like the Nashville kind of country folk sound.
Yeah.
But like the nice kind of, I felt like it was ear friendly folk and not like that cheesy country.
It's not pop. It's
not pop
yeah,
country.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
which
Right.
Walmart
but
country.
Like, but very like beautiful, like
Mhm.
well written, you know.
I wrote down
Folk country.
If Jewel sung country music, like she had a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
It definitely. I wrote no pop country. This is definitely not pop. When people say they don't like country music, it's because they're not listening deep enough. Because I can play you 3 off with their head songs that sound like country music because they're doing it with an acoustic guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like there's country
or Chuck Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean
fucking Lenny Lashley. You know what I'm saying? Like you can find this stuff.
It's folk music. It just happens to have a certain sound.
Right.
But like it's not Kenny Chesney or
right.
like
I don't know who that is.
or anything.
Yeah, I know who that is. I know Garth
but
yeah, it's not, and like I lived in the South and I had to, and I'm not a big country person. But like I had to, like I know good music when I hear it. So when I was booking bands, I would, I'd listen to their music, and that's how it would happen. But there's like and there's a place for pop country. There absolutely is a place for it's not there's not a place for it at my table, but there's a place for pop country. This is singer-songwriter,
right.
But I mean anything singer-songwriter, like you're gonna get a deep connection to, I think, one way or the other. I thought this was beautiful music. So
yeah,
agreed. Loved it.
Beautiful voice, beautiful lyrics. It reminded me of what I've never been to, like a real honky tonk in the South, but it reminded me of what like would be performing on a weekday in a honky tonk. Like it's not party music. It's not like get up and get drinking music, but it's just beautiful. It's something you want to listen to. And while it wasn't really like my preferred style, I could definitely see times when this would be what I would want to listen to. And her voice is just fucking amazing. I was blown away.
Yeah, you absolutely would find her. Like when I was in Nashville, one night that I was there, my buddy and I were at a bar, and it was, they had a bunch of different, because like there's so many musicians in Nashville. Like you'll go to a bar and there'll be like 3 or 4 local artists playing just in the background, like at a restaurant or like at a plate, like not even like specifically a show, but just like they are the live entertainment booked all night long, all the time. There's always somebody playing on a stage in a corner of a place everywhere all the time. And there was a girl that played that was like very similar. So yeah, totally, definitely like an artist you would hear playing, I think, at a venue in that part of the country. Just kind of easy mellow vibes. Like
it's
definitely could hear her playing on a weeknight or something.
It's criminal. It's criminal how musicians are treated in Nashville.
Yeah. Oh God, it's terrible. It's terrible.
None get paid. And then what are you eating? Are you kidding me? Sorry. None of them get paid, and then some have to pay to play.
Yeah.
It's criminal. It's fucking criminal. Because there's a lot of musicians, and if Nashville is like the place for music now, whether
It's
or
a
not,
jungle.
yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a country singer or not. All the best producers are there now. It was like what Seattle was in the 90s is where Nashville is now.
Right.
It's just, it's heartbreaking to see. I remember I booked a punk rock band from the Nashville area, and they were like, "Wait, you're paying us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm paying you." Like, it was just, they just were like, oh, I feel bad for a lot of music because it's the place to go, but it's also,
So it's just that competitive there that like to get on a stage you have to buy your way
in certain. I mean, I think probably in certain circles,
yeah,
it is.
If you want to play Broadway,
we were at a bar. Like I remember being at a bar, and normally you would have like maybe one. Like if you were at a bar in Quincy or here in Boston somewhere, you'd have maybe one person that plays like some covers and some background music, and it's like whatever, like I'm talking about like music that you hear somebody playing at a bar it's not a show. Like you're not there specifically for a show. They're hired to just be like live entertainment for the evening for whoever's in the venue.
Right.
Here you would have maybe like one person that does that all night, and they play a few different sets and they take a break. At this bar we were at, they had like a whiteboard with like 5 or 6 artists on it that would be playing all throughout the night, and they each get like 30 minutes or whatever. Like, because there's just that many people. Like there's that the market is that saturated there with
think of it like almost like an open mic
musicians. Yeah,
But
everywhere.
Everywhere.
All the time. And then on that main drag in like the big touristy neighborhood there where they have all those honky tonks, like you're talking about, like all those venues, like there's a whole bunch of bars all along this one strip that have like every single one of them has a stage, and every single one of them has like a sound system that is worth like 6 times what you would find at like even a legitimate venue up here. Like these are like shitty like Bud Light drinking honky tonk bars where like people are just going to get messed up. Like think of like the like I don't here in Boston, like the financial district is like where all those bars are here. And like it's like just like the people that go out on like Friday and Saturday nights to get shitty and like listen to terrible mainstream pop music and like just fight with each other. But in Nashville, all those bars are like have live bands playing all the time, and it's like it's insane. Like you walk by them and you see like they have like a $500,000 sound system in this tiny little corner for this little stage, because that's how much business they're doing all the time, and like how many different artists they have playing there all the time, and how that market is just so crazy compared to anywhere else I've ever been. It was insane. But but they'll just have artists playing all the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if you might have to buy your way into some of that, because there's so much competition there.
So Memphis seemed that way to me when I was there. Memphis seems similar, which makes sense. They're 4 hours apart.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis, you're gonna get a lot of
it's grittier.
Rock and roll and blues.
It's grittier. Yeah, Memphis has got a harder, like blue collar, rougher vibe to it, but it's still known as being a music city, and like for sure.
So, all right. Well, is that everyone's list?
I think so.
All right. How long
Chris,
were you in Nashville?
Chris, you got anything to say?
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
This is the quickest
You want to
episode
fucking
we've
save
done.
this?
Let's let Chris let Chris play us out.
Should I call him? Oh man.
We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Anyone else? Let's talk. Michael, what's your YouTube
Chris
channel?
will be back next month, so don't give up on us, people.
Yeah, don't give up on us yet.
Yeah, we're all sick and
I know. Yeah,
we're in an after Christmas funk on this one.
Oh
so.
man, yeah.
Right.
I'm recovering from fucking COVID, and so is Jeff. And so
and I got COVID by proxy.
Yeah.
apparently this week. Yeah, I got
You got it
digital. I
digitally.
got digital. Everybody I knew was sick, so I had to be sick, I guess. The YouTube channel is Punk as Folk, and the Instagram is Punk A Folk. I haven't really been doing much lately. I've been taking it easy, waiting for the new year. Shit gets busy around Christmas time for everybody, so I didn't feel like I wanted that added stress currently. But I will be back with shit in January. Yeah.
Jeff.
Or if you follow me on Instagram and see what I'm listening to every day.
The show is Dirty Decibels. It's at Dirty DBcast on Instagram. It's anchor.fm/Dirty Decibels. Also taking a break, but we'll be back hopefully in the spring with some new episodes and some new guests.
That'd be awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. So I'm Trev, the struggling artist. I don't take breaks. For better
No
or
days
worse. For better, yeah. For better or worse, I don't take breaks. Find me, I don't know, on the sound places where you listen to. I am fucking struggling. On the sound places where you listen to podcasts, Struggling Artist Podcast, Podcast TSA on the socials. And Chris is not here, but you can find Chris at that one time at Bandcamp podcast, where I think he's on a break too for the holiday, but you know, he does good stuff over there. So check him out as well. That's it. Thank you for struggling with us this entire episode. I promise.
Oh, wait.
What?
Can I plug one more thing, actually?
Yes.
Since I have this stage. So I'm currently working on another project in the planning phases. If you are somebody who has like struggled with addiction or recovery and would like to reach out to me to possibly speak about it with me, obviously in a public environment. So yeah, I'm looking for guests for this project to speak with me. So if you're interested, hit me up on my Instagram.
Cool.
And yeah,
cool. Give us
it'll
more
all
details.
be confidential. It'll all be confidential until like the episodes actually air. So if you decide you want to back out, it's not like I'm gonna run around fucking being like, guess who? Guess who?
All right, that's it for this week or this month. We'll talk to you guys next month. Bye.
Bye.